Conservative actor Kevin Sorbo opens up about cancel culture and Hollywood ostracizing conservative artists for their political views. Of course, we all know that this is happening, right? Like, this isn't even a secret. Hollywood isn't even trying to hide this anymore. Just look at the case of Gina Carano, a very recent example of this, where she, started to become very bold about her opinions and her viewpoints about certain things on social media, and Disney fired her for that. That is just the most recent example of that. And it just goes to show that companies like Disney, they aren't trying to hide it anymore. They aren't trying to be, clever about it. They aren't trying to be subtle about it. They are just going all out. And that is because they realize that right now they have a foothold in the culture war, and they want to complete their objective. They want to fulfill their agenda of absolutely destroying everything that makes America America. And finally, for the finalization, bringing in neo-Marxism and the reign of all of these different institutions like Hollywood, which will have total power over your lives. And that's what they want. They want you all to just be mindless drones that go and watch their movies and support them, buy their streaming services, whatever else. That's what they want. They want you to just gobble up whatever they feed you without question, without criticism, without being picky or choosy. It makes it easier for Hollywood to be lazy, and it also just gives them the ability to have total power over who you are and what you believe. And that is just an example of one of the institutions and what they want. There are many of these different institutions like big tech and universities and mainstream media that want the same thing as well. They want power over you and your life. So Kevin Sorbo knows this, and he's speaking out against it. In a recent interview with PragerU, Hercules, the legendary Journey's actor Kevin Sorbo revealed some details about his early beginnings as an actor. So we're gonna kind of like watch through some of the stuff here in this interview. We're not gonna watch the whole thing. If you do want to go watch the whole thing, you can go watch it on PragerU and stuff, because he talks a little bit about like his backstory and his upbringing and everything else, and that's totally cool. But that's not really what we're here for at this time. So let's go ahead and get started and watch some of the interview here.
It makes me really sad that we've gotten so angry and so divided. But why can't we have a civil talk about our disagreements? And you can't do that today, especially in Hollywood.
True.
I gotta say there were some sidetracks in my life before I made the big move to Paris then for 6 months, and I went to Munich for a year and a half, in all those countries over there, and it's 90% of it is American stuff. Guy walks up to me, he goes, "Oh, you're that Yank. You're that Yank shooting Hercules, eh?" And I went, "Well, yeah, I'm an actor. I'm filming the television series Hercules." He goes, "America. I've been to America, hated it." And I looked at him, and I don't know why I thought of this, but I'm kind of a smartass to begin with. And I said, "Well, then don't go back. We have enough assholes there already." And I walked away from him, and I kept thinking a dumbbell's gonna be in the back of the head or something. But you would run into people like that no matter what country you go to. For the most part, people liked America. I think to travel the way I did was huge to make me grow up. I think they care about me. My mantra was get me in the door. Let me have the chance to be rejected. Just get me in the door. I was hungry for it, and I wanted to make sure I kept working. Charity golf event out in Palm Springs, and I said something, and one of the guys pulls me aside. He says, "Are you conservative?" So why are we talking like we're doing a drug deal over here in the corner, because he pulled me in the corner of the clubhouse we were sitting in. It's crazy how the damage they can do to your career and how they can destroy people's lives right now. In 2010,
Gina Carano.
there were a couple of incidents that I just said, okay, I've had enough of this. And I remember going back to my wife and saying, I've had enough of the hypocrisy where nobody's pointing it out. And I started getting more vocal. Of course, we had all these, social media was starting to grow in its infancy, but we started to take off. And I started saying stuff. My wife said, "You better look out, they're gonna come after you." And I said, all I said was 2 + 2 is 4. I spoke the truth, that's just truth. But she was right. And I got to a point with my agent, who was a big time agent, I was with a long time, and my manager just said, "We can't represent you anymore."
Isn't that insane that just by pointing out basic truths, basic facts, that is all it takes for Hollywood to consider you a bad person and try to destroy you? That's just absolutely insane to me. That just by speaking truth, that's all it takes. Of course, that's just the way it has been throughout human history. Whenever people rise up to speak speak truth, actual truth, not individual truth, not personal truth, but actual factual truth, there will always be people that will try to destroy you for that, which is exactly what's happening in America right now.
I said, why? Well, because you're conservative and you're a Christian and I was like, what? And I said, this is an industry that screams more than anybody else for tolerance. You have to be tolerant. You have to be, freedom of speech. And now all that stuff is completely a one-way street. It's like, you say what we say, or you're out. You're out of the club.
Yep.
Andrew Breitbart said, politics is downstream of culture. Who runs the culture? Hollywood does. Mainstream media does. And
Yep.
you see what's coming out there right now. You see the movies that come out. There's so much hate, anger, divisiveness. Walt Disney said back in the 50s, movies and television will influence the youth. And of course, look what it's doing right now. And there's such an ignorance out there. There's such a, I don't think people are stupid. I don't think young kids are stupid. I think they're just misguided, they're misled. We got an education system that is, they're telling kids that this is bad and this is good. I never had that when I was in school. I never had that. If I had a math class, they taught math. If it was biology, I taught biology. When I got to college, I never had any professors tell me or get angry at me if I had a different viewpoint than them. I have no recollection of any of that stuff going on. But it's changed drastically in the last 15 years. It's just, it's accelerating on itself. And when I usually confront somebody and say, okay, let's talk about that issue, and all they can do is say, you're wrong. You're wrong. Or science. And I go, okay, explain the science to me. It's science, and they walk away because they don't have the answers. That's where they want to be because that's where the news people told them they should be, or the industry of Hollywood told them they should be. There's a weird tipping point we're at right now between reality and just fake information.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, he continues, and it's really, really good what he says. There is this one part in here that a really good quote as well. So the difference today, I think, is because back then compared to now, you have got to play even more of a game now, which is true. The actor continued, you've got to be ready to bite your lip more than ever in the climate that's going on in America and the climate that's going on in the world, because you've got this woke thing and this cancel culture thing where people are coming after you, and it can tear you down for something you said 30 years ago, which is insane to me. That is absolutely insane, but it is true. These are the same people, apparently perfect people, that never, what does it say in the Bible? He without sin cast the first stone. Then he talked about how, like, people in Hollywood would say that he's a very bad person and he's against education because he's a Republican, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Republicans aren't against education. They just don't want, false indoctrination or, communist neo-Marxist indoctrination to be taking place. And, it's just ridiculous. Like, nobody actually talks about the real issues. They just say, oh, you're a Republican, you're a conservative, you hate education, you are, you hate black people and all these different things. And whatever people say, it's just ridiculous. You're a transphobe, whatever else. And it's not true. It's not true. Like we might have, like, certain things that we don't like about, things like the education system or whatever else. And we can talk about those things. Let's talk about it. But no, that's not what they want. They want to just continue to just paint you, put you in a box. I mean, this is what they do. This is what the woke left does, right? They put everybody in these little segregated boxes, and it's all based on your identity. It's all based on, what your skin color is, what your gender is, what your sexual preference is, and all these different things. They label you with these boxes. They put you in these boxes, and that is where you are in their mind. You have already been preconceived in their mind about who you are, and that's just the way it is. Oh, you're a Republican conservative. You are a bad racist, homophobe, whatever else. And it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So Kevin Sorbo had a lot of really good stuff to say, and you can go watch the entire interview if you want to over on PragerU. It's like 9 minutes long, so it's not like super long or anything, but he has a lot of really good stuff to say in there, and I highly recommend it. So let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Subscribe if you're new here to my channel. I'd appreciate that a lot, and I'll talk to you all very soon in another video. Talk to you later. Bye.